Hello everyone, this is Miss Risk. I'm going to go over quickly section 2.1 because I have a lot of students who just added. Um, this is the agenda, and you can pause and copy it, and this is a focus for 2.1. And if you're not sure how to set it up, just ask me. Now this is all about density, and it has two units are involved with the density: mass and volume. And this is a lab that we did, but you can, if you missed it, you can redo it in class during lunch or after school. It's on page 28. You're going to, well, they worked with study buddy number 1. Uh, one paper per 2, and then you're going to copy measuring material and procedure. You're going to measure the mass of the washer, and then you're going to figure out the initial volume, which is the water before you add the washer, and then the final volume, which is the level after you add the washer. And then the volume of the washer is the final volume minus initial, and the density is the mass divided by the volume. Mass divided by the volume. Now for the volume, you have to keep the graduated cylinder at an eye level. You see that curve right here? You want to look right below it. That's called meniscus. You want to, the correct way of reading the meniscus is at eye level. If you're looking at it from higher than level, then your reading is going to be low. If you look at it from a lower level, your reading is going to be higher than the actual value. Now, we also have this kind of scale. So the first thing you want to do is remove the leather cover and then the hard cover. Then you want to press tare to 0 your scale, and then press mode to make sure that you're on grams, not ounces, because that will throw off your reading. And then we said it's grams are measured in, mass is measured in grams, and the volume is measured in milliliters if it's liquid, or cubic centimeter if it's a solid. Perfect cube. Now we've seen a cube before, and the volume of a cube is the height times the length times the width. The width is this one right here, but it was not showing. And then if they're all measured in centimeters, then centimeters times centimeters times centimeters is cubic centimeters. Okay? And that's the formula for the volume of a cube. Now, if it's not really perfect cube and the volume, and it's not just the volume of the water, it's an irregular shape, like a washer, for example, like your lab, then we use something called the volume by displacement. Okay? And displacement is how the water level changes after you add the washer. Okay? It went from 200 to 250 approximately, so this is after you added the washer. So the difference would be 50 milliliters. All right, and we also did practice problems. A piece of metal with a mass of 147 grams is placed in 50 milliliters graduated cylinder. The water rises from, you have to underline that, 20 milliliters to 41 milliliters. What is the density of the metal? Okay, so whatever comes after from is your initial volume. Whatever comes after to is your final volume. And here's your formula. Density is mass divided by volume. But before we actually plug in the values, we really have to subtract these two first. And the formula is the volume of the metal is the final minus initial. So you subtract the two, you get 21 milliliters. Don't forget your units. And the density is the mass in grams divided by the 21 milliliters. Okay. Now for number 2, what is the volume of a sample that has a mass of 20 grams and a density of 4? Okay, so you see grams, that's your mass right there. You see grams per milliliters, that's your density. And your formula is density is mass per volume. So this one is, they're looking for volume right here. What is the volume? So you have to solve for V, cross multiply or multiply both sides by the volume, and then divide both sides by the density to get to this level. If you're not sure how to do that, just come during lunch and I'll show you. So all you have to do is divide 20 grams by the density, which is 4 grams per milliliters. And it's 5 milliliters. Now the last one, a metal cube has a mass of 20 grams and a volume of 5 cubic centimeters. Is the cube made of pure aluminum? Now, if you look up the reference text, it will say that the density of aluminum is 2.7 grams per cubic centimeters. So what you need to do is figure out the density, compare it to 2.7, and see if it's a pure substance or pure aluminum. So we have the grams, which is the mass, cubic centimeters, that's your volume. You just plug in, divide 20 by 5, and it's 4. It's a lot greater than 2.7, so no, it's not a pure substance. Okay, we also did the 72 to 74 on page 50 in groups with study buddy number 1, but if you weren't there, if you were absent or didn't add the class yet, you can do either odds or even and just turn it in. We also did, because every time we do practice problems, you do reflection from application or analysis or the multiple intelligence menu. So you only choose one and do a reflection. And then at the end of each section, you also do another reflection, which is from knowledge or comprehension of the multiple intelligence menu after you took your survey. So each one of these are 10 points, so make sure that you do. And that concludes 2.1. We'll see you next one.